Throw to the end zone. And toward the end zone.
A little bit of inside to the booth, the radio booth with our Derek Philo getting that video. Welcome inside the Dan Brockers Import Automotive Saturday Morning Huddle. Billy Beebe, Kenny Rhoda with you. Kenny, big question. Are you dry yet?
I am not dry yet. I am still trying to dry out everything I had with me last night at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. One of the craziest weather nights I've dealt with in a long time. And we were wondering, even on the Kenny and JT show, hey, it looks fine right now, but that was like at 4 o'clock, and then kickoff came and it was a little bit wet. And then this, look at that torrential downpour. And there were pockets of weather that came through Stark County last night at various times. And I've got to be honest, I didn't stay out on the field the whole time. I went underneath the stands. That's where I shot that video from. And it obviously affected McKinley more than it did, Cass Tech, as McKinley loses that game 20-3 last night. McKinley led early in the contest on a Thomas Mankowski field goal. And this is Nino Hill with one of the better runs of the night. But as you could see, out of their own end zone, basically. And Cass Tech came in all the way from Detroit. And they beat McKinley last night 20-3. It was not a good night for the McKinley Bulldogs. The weather factored in, like I said. They want to throw the ball, it looks like, somewhat with the speed that they have and the players they have on the outside. Cam Montgomery was 9 of 17 for 67 yards, but the weather affected them more than it affected Cass Tech. And the big play in that game, Billy, McKinley was up 3-0 in the first half.
Yeah.
And I said it on the air right before it happened to Dan Belford, Mark Miller, and Denny Kincaid. I said, hey, with the weather like this, punts and kickoffs, right, are going to be a challenge. And you've got to make sure you secure the football. Forget about the return. Just secure the football. And sure enough, McKinley was up 3-0. They fumbled the ball. It's recovered by Cass Tech on McKinley's 8-yard line. That led to the touchdown run you saw there for Cass Tech. And it was 7-3, and McKinley never really challenged after that. I think they had 51 total yards of offense in the second half. And give Cass Tech credit. They travel 3.5 hours from Detroit. They're a well-known program, and they beat McKinley 20-3. It was chippy throughout the game, Billy. A lot of penalties that were offsetting penalties, which I liked from the officials, to be honest with you. But in the end, Marvin Rushing, their head coach, and Antonio Hall decided not to shake hands. Everybody just went to the locker room with the weather as well as the chippiness that was going on.
Wow.
That was a smart move, I thought. Great job by the coaches to avoid, anything along those lines. And Mark Miller and I were talking about it. We're twice your age. And when we played, we didn't shake hands with the other team after a game. If I won, I wanted to go celebrate with, my teammates and the fans, or when we lost, I didn't want to talk to anybody. So I thought it was a good move on the part of both coaches. McKinley's got some work to do, Billy. Up front, they were awful last night. And they have a couple of running backs in Johnson and in Hill that, they're big-time players, but you don't have the blocking up front. Doesn't matter, right? Cam Montgomery's running for his life. He's getting pressured on a regular basis, the transfer quarterback out of Texas. So they're going to have to get things squared away up front. They had fewer penalties, but again, they had a 4th and 1 play they came up short on. A fumbled punt, self-inflicted wounds. That's, part of the big problem. And so we'll see what they can do now as they get ready to travel on the road next week and start the Federal League against Glen Oak, the only team that beat them last year, 7-3. But McKinley still won the Federal League last year.
I think turnovers is going to be a big discussion today. It was key to my game, which was Sandy Valley at East Canton. We'll talk about that more. We'll have Brian Gamble on. We have a slew of guests on today. Really excited for the lineup we have today. John DeMarco will be with us from the Northwest Indians, who are undefeated 3-0. Not many undefeated teams left after this week. We'll go through all the scores. That includes Massillon took their first loss. Perry took their first loss. We will have Dan DeGeorge, one of the only other undefeated teams in Stark County. Lake is 3-0. They posted a shutout. We'll talk with Coach about that. A team that got their first win, Jackson. Coach Jay Rohr will join us. And then, like I said, Brian Gamble with us later in the show. We got players coming on with these guys. So really exciting show ahead. Of course, we will have the Marianne Donuts Sweet Play of the Week. I'm starting my day right here, Kenny.
Nice.
Motts took care of me. It was great talking to her and Dave Motts this morning, seeing them both. So that was tremendous. An interesting game we had also.
What's that?
On our SARTA stream game, the Louisville Leopards and, as I said, the Northwest Indians, who are undefeated at home once again, trying to stay undefeated. However, we noted that Louisville was looking good. They were on the right track. They kind of got things going, and we had a bit of a back and forth in this one from our Derek Philo sending us some video and doing a great job capturing that video. Another terrific week for Chase Badger. We'll get to him in just a second. Airing the ball out, running all over the field, dealing with pressure. Northwest had an early 14-0 lead. Louisville battled back, made it a game, was in there with Northwest. But again, Kenny, Derek noted to me that Louisville had a slew of turnovers that ended up biting them late, that even though they had a chance at the end, without those turnovers, what could have happened?
Yeah, Hail Mary at the end of that game. So give Louisville, the Leopards, Chris Kappas' squad, the ability to fight back. You love that. Even if you lose, right? You look for things to take away from games, win or lose. If I'm Chris Kappas, hey, we were down by 2 scores. We get the onside kick and have a chance for a Hail Mary to tie this thing up in the end. So, that's the thing that you preach. But then you go back to the, bundle of turnovers that they had in this game. You've got to protect the ball better. Ball security has to be an emphasis, I'm sure, in practice for Louisville this week. If you're Northwest, hey, you're 3-0. Doesn't matter how you win them, right? You remain undefeated, but you can't let a team come back. And I'm sure that's something John DeMarco and his coaching staff will work on, saying we can't have a letdown. And, we're in control of the game. Next thing you know, they're throwing a Hail Mary at the end of the game as time expires, and we got to knock it down to secure the win. So something to build on for both teams there. In what was a shootout, 35-28 won by Northwest.
The 2 quarterback system, that was a storyline in my game also, as Sandy Valley is still getting that sorted out and figuring that out. But they have the same issue that Northwest does, Kenny. They have 2 talented quarterbacks that they are utilizing. For Northwest, though, it appears Chase Badger is really shining for them. He has played very well. And he turns out to be our player of the week. He is the one, right?
Yep, he is the one, the community one, player of the week here on the Saturday Morning Huddle. Chase Badger put up some ridiculous numbers last night. Look at that. You got to love that. That's a heck of a couple of games for some players, right? He did that in one night, 22 of 34 in the air, 266 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. He then tucked it and ran for 57 more yards on 17 carries and a touchdown. And he threw 3 of those touchdowns to Logan Allman, 29, 21, and 8 yards. So a nice game for Logan Allman. On most weeks, Logan Allman might be the one, the community one player of the week. But how can you not give it to the Northwest senior quarterback, Chase Badger?
Every time we're talking Chase Badger, I've heard this over and over again. With a name like that, you're QB1, right? Or you're a player, you're a baller in some type of way. That's a high school football name.
Yeah, it is. I wrote down another name. We mentioned Perry. They get a loss, right? Their first one, they lose 15-9 to Warren Harding. How about Warren Harding's quarterback's name? Chaz Coleman. What's up, Chaz? Chaz and Chase.
Chaz left.
Yeah, Chaz and Chase. Hey, you got to have a good Poochie Snyder last year, right? So Colucci and Poochie, the battles we had with those guys over the years and everything. So, yeah, it helps a little bit when you're the quarterback. You got a cool name like that. Everybody remembers that. And Chase Badger, a lot of people are going to remember his name with the way he's playing this year.
Again, Badger, very impressive yesterday. He was our Community One Federal Credit Union Player of the Week here on the Saturday Morning Huddle. Taking care of the ball, Kenny, that's going to be a big theme we're discussing today. We talked about it a little bit. Louisville had some pop to them last week, blocking punts, pick sixes. Unfortunately, you kind of pop the other way the next week. Multiple fumbles, interceptions, poor taking care of the ball, and it outdoes you when Northwest takes care of the ball, takes care of business, and scores consistently.
Northwest, a good football team. Right now they're playing with a lot of confidence, and they're undefeated. And John DeMarco's a hell of a coach, one of my favorite coaches. And, this was a big game. He'll downplay it, Nat. I get it. You don't want to make it about you, but he coached at Louisville and did a great job there. And it's taken them a while, finally, with Chris Kappas to get back on track at Louisville. But that's a big win for him. His players know it as well. So that added a little bit more to that game last night. And we mentioned, Logan Allman with 3 TD catches. You have to love that there's that favorite target or somebody to go to. And Chase Badger and he seem to be on the same page. And when there's a big play needed, those are guys you can count on.
Can't forget. I almost forgot. Fairless is 3-0. Fearless 3-0, and I like that. It was a soggy ring of fire last night after their victory. Look, everybody dealt with the rain. I don't think there was anyone that, the storm missed us. Oh, it only rained pregame.
Right.
My game specifically, I know it was pouring, stopped, rained harder, stopped, rained harder than that. I felt for Frank Salona down on the sideline. He was a trooper yesterday, and he did a great job. We'll play that post-game interview with him and Brian Gamble because it's hilarious, Kenny. The rain was like a third guest trying to talk over Brian Gamble in that interview. But the Fearless Falcons, just 1 year after struggling to kind of replicate what they had done the year before, going to the playoffs, setting records, doing huge things, they have regrouped. They're back on track, and having a young team doesn't seem to be holding them back.
Here's the one thing to remember about last year in talking with Coach Sarbaugh. They lost a lot of games by one possession. So they were in those games, right? They just didn't come up with the big play. Well, that experience seems to be paying off now as, the Falcons are flying high, the flock of Falcons, right? In Fairless, and he's one of the best play callers in the county, no question. He knows how to use his players, and I'm going through my sheets here, and he's got a beast to to rely on now too, as they won 28-6 over Claymont last night. Peter Killey, 29 carries, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns. Cameron Carl with a touchdown grab. Troy McVicker with another touchdown run. And Mikey Ritterbeck with a touchdown pass, 159 yards passing. The ring of fire was burning, maybe not as brightly as in other nights with all the rain, but Johnny Cash was blaring loudly over the speaker system there at Fairless, as they have that tradition after every home win. I fell into the burning ring of fire. I love the song, man. I got to be in the middle of that one time and shoot video and sing with the guys. It's a pretty cool experience. I love that they created a tradition like that at Fairless.
That's Ohio high school football. It's been a long night. You stuck it out in the rain. You're a fan, you're a player, you're a coach, and that's your celebration there for Fairless. And I think it's interesting that you mentioned this with McKinley being a major problem, because for Fairless, we noted, I specifically, not to pat myself on the back here, I felt okay about Fairless bouncing back this year because we know, Kenny, how much of an emphasis Coach Sarbaugh puts on the offensive line, defensive line, right? Yeah. That's something they work on every camp. That's something they work on all offseason. They always seem to have guys, not just, quality players, but guys that get what's going on up front. And it seems to have made the difference for them this year. Coach talked about that last week. If people watching get the chance, go back to last week, watch our interview with Coach Sarbaugh. We're talking offensive line and we're talking Mountain Dew. There's not a better Saturday than doing those two things. I loved it.
Let's see. I'm trying to pat you on the back. There you go. Is that how I'm reaching over? There you go. Good job, Billy. Well done. Yeah, well done.
So good for Fairless. They're 3-0 now. Another 3-0 team We just talked about him. We now welcome our first guest of the show, Coach John DeMarco. Coach, moving to 3-0. Congratulations. How are you this morning?
Good. We're doing well. 3-0. We feel pretty good this morning.
Yeah, you should, Coach. 3-0 is the way you want to start in a high-scoring affair last night. I'm curious, going in, were you expecting this game to put up 63 total points?
Well, you never know going in. A lot of times when you expect there to be a lot of points, and it turns out to be a defensive battle, or if it's a defensive battle, it turns out to be high scoring on both sides. So high school football, one thing you know is there's not much predictable about it. You just have to show up Friday night and play and see what happens. It helped that we got off to a really good start, and I think it forced Louisville to open up a little bit more and open up their playbook a little bit more and probably throw a little bit more than they were planning on it. But yeah, they matched us there and it had an opportunity to win it almost at the end of the game there. So yeah, exciting affair anyways.
Coach, I want to give you the opportunity to introduce the special player you brought with you.
Well, we got Chase Badger here, played quarterback for us last night. I think he was 22 of 32, something like that, for 260-some yards. He's also our leading rusher at 17 carries, more than we really care to run the quarterback, but 17 carries for a few yards. Threw for 4 and ran 1, so he counted for all 5 of our touchdowns. So, yeah, he just made some plays for us last night. He got the ball to our playmakers, and I think we got a lot of guys on the field that can make plays, and it's his job to get them the ball and let them make plays. And he did that last night, and they were able to make plays.
Yeah, with those numbers, Coach and Chase, you are the community one, player of the week. We talked about these numbers, Chase, going into this game. I'm curious, did you realize how big of a role you were going to have in this one as you threw it 34 times and ran it 17 more, or did that develop as the game was unfolding?
I think it just developed how the game went, and we just kept stuck with the game plan.
And Chase, Coach just talked about it. You have that ability to run. You have that ability to leave the pocket. When you drop back and you are looking for your playmakers, and Coach said you did a great job finding them, how much of it is, okay, I need to try and make a pass, and how much of it is, I know I can do something with my legs and making that decision?
I think it's just being smart with the ball. When there's an open receiver, get him the ball, and he's going to make a play, and trust him.
Logan Ullman was that receiver, 3 touchdown catches in this game for you, 29, 21, and 8 yards. Is this something where you had this connection with Logan, or is this a developing situation that Coach is going to love and hope that it happens all season long?
I think this is definitely developing, and every other receiver too.
What is it about Logan that you guys seem to be on the same page? Is he a great route runner? Is there that eye contact where you guys are able to connect that way? What is it?
I think he's just so fast, and when he gets to his spot, we know when I'm going to give him the ball, and he knows when I'm going to give him the ball. So,
Coach, we discussed this earlier. When you heard the name Chase Badger, did you kind of think you had a player there, a baller there? Because I think a lot of people hear that name and they think that's a sweet name. That's got to be a good player.
Well, I've been around long enough that I don't put much stock into that. I think I first watched him play as an 8th grader and thought he had some really good skills, and he's been with us for 4 years now and just works really hard and has some really good skills, and we're just trying to hone him in a little bit on those.
Coach, what's been the key in all 3 games? You're off to a 3-0 start. I don't know if each game has gone the way you planned it. Normally that doesn't happen, right? But here you are talking to us again, 3-0. What's been the key?
Well, life never goes how you plan. The same way with Friday night football. Never goes how you plan. You have an idea of what you try to do, and you try to execute it the best you can. Key is turnovers. Usually in high school football, turnovers are huge. Louisville turned the ball over 7 times, or we were able to create 7 turnovers, however you want to look at it. But that was huge. Gave us some field position a few times, killed a couple of their drives a few times, but turnovers are huge. We turned it over twice. They turned it over 7 times. Usually it comes down to that. We talk about that all the time, starting to do with that. And then it's just executing what you're trying to do with your game plan, offensively and defensively. And hopefully the kids are buying in, and for the most part, we've been buying in, and the kids are working hard and doing what we're asking them to do. Whether they like what we're doing or not, at least we got 11 guys on each side of the ball doing what we're asking them to do, which is key in high school also.
Billy, let me follow up real quick,
go
if you don't mind, on that. You're a +5 in the turnover category last night, Coach. How much of that was weather? How much of that was, credit to your defense?
Well, you don't know, and I'm sure if you talk to two different coaches, you're going to get two different answers there. I know we made one good contact, one good hit on a handoff right as they're handing it off, and I think we may have caused that. They threw a couple of interceptions. I thought our safety made some nice breaks on the ball, but you don't know, was the ball wet? Did he not get a good snap because of the weather? Stuff like that. So I really don't know. I do know that we turned the ball over one time. We fumbled, and they went into a wildcat formation with their lead back taking a snap, and he mishandled the snap. That could have been weather right there. When you put somebody back there, it's not used to handling it, stuff like that. But you get two different perspectives on that.
And Coach, when we talk turnovers, especially locally last night, when teams had a tough night with turnovers, it wasn't just one or two, it was 3, 4, 5, 7, up to that point. How, when you do turn the ball over once or twice, how do you keep it at just one mistake or maybe two mistakes, as far as not letting it get to, say, 5 or 6 times?
Well, you work all the time trying to teach your kids that, forget the last play, move on. We got to move on. Defensively, you stress when the offense turns the ball over, you have sudden change, and you got to get out there and be ready to play. You can't be complaining about, the turnover. You got to, wherever the ball's put down, you got to show up and play. You don't know how much of that gets through to them, though. They're high school kids, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. And, as much as you preach, just human nature too, not to get down when those things happen. But we work on that all the time.
Chase, I want to ask you about the weather. I'm a sideline reporter. So last night I'm doing the McKinley-Cass Tech game. I'm drenched on the sidelines. I'm complaining about it, and I'm not even playing in the game. So as a quarterback, how do you deal with weather conditions like what we had last night throughout Stark County?
I just kept a towel in my quarterback coach's pocket so the towel would stay dry so I could keep my hands dry, and just try to use that and just try to play like the ball's dry too.
Did it affect you in throwing the ball in any way last night?
At some points it did. At some points it did not.
And Coach, for you, do you change the game plan and the play calls with weather
No.
like that? No? Okay.
No. In fact, if we get an opportunity, especially during 2-a-days, we didn't get an opportunity much this year. But when it's raining, we make more of an effort to stay out in the rain a little bit longer, and we just throw the ball. We got to, you got to work on the shotgun snap, and I tell our guys, they work hard all along. Our receivers, to make themselves good athletes to run and catch and to get open. So I said, hey, we get inclement weather, you got to be able to do it here. So we'll stay out and work in it in the rain if we get that opportunity.
And Chase, you're a senior this year. What is playing at Northwest meant to you? How do you feel about the community support and all the guys around you and the coaches around you?
Oh, it's great. The community, I played since youth here, and people are always at the high school games, always supporting, and that's how it is now, and I love it.
Coach, what's it mean to you that he was a Ute from my cousin Vinny, as he used to say, right? And he stayed all the way through with all these kids moving all over the place. This kid's born and bred there, and he's a senior with you.
Well, that's fantastic when you see that. We had 4 or 5 of them Utes down there taking care of the footballs for us last night. And I didn't get the opportunity. I wasn't here at the time when Chase was a youngster, but seeing those guys out there and how excited they are, and over my years, I had the opportunity to watch kids grow up and come through the program like that. And you're just thrilled for them because this is, they think this is their ultimate goal, high school football, when they're down there at that age. And you just like to see them fulfill that.
Chase, have you had the chance to interact with the kids? Maybe go to either some Pee Wee games, or hey, if they're on the sideline while you're warming up, play some catch with them or something.
Oh yeah, I went to a bunch of youth games. I did last year, and I'm gonna try to this year too.
That's awesome. Interacting. You're their hero, and the next Chase Badger might be on the sidelines right now for Coach DeMarco. Looking up to you. So kudos to you for that. Heck of a game last night. All right, Coach. The best thing about 3-0, as I'm paraphrasing Urban Meyer here, is the chance to go 4-0. So what's next on the schedule?
You got that right. That's a great statement there. 3-0 gives you the opportunity to be 4-0. I tell you what, we got our work cut out for us. We got Manchester. It's our rival to start with, and they're 3-0. They've given up 2 points all year. They took it to Marlington last night, and we beat Marlington, but it was by no means easy game for us. So we definitely got our work cut out for us. The school's right next door to us here. So we know it's going to be a battle every year. And now we got 3-0 going against 3-0. So we're really looking forward to that opportunity.
Well, thank you for joining us, guys. Excited to see you move to 3-0 last night. Excited to cover your team more this season. And Chase, congratulations again on being our player of the week. Quite the performance last night.
Thank you.
Thank you. We greatly appreciate you guys when you make it out. We appreciate all the things that you do for Stark County football. And I got to tell you, it's great seeing both of you guys in red this morning. So go Red.
See that?
Thanks,
That's the theme of the show this morning. Congratulations, Coach and Chase. Great job and good luck against Manchester. 3-0, best thing about it, Billy Beebe, right? The chance to go 4-0, like Coach said, and Urban Meyer's made that phrase, so many times. That's going to be a hell of a matchup against Manchester. And, I was going through my score sheets here, 40-0, they beat Marlington last night. Manchester last year was 1-9. 1-9. They've already tripled their win total from this year. And so they're going to, look to go 4-0 next week, as is Northwest. And again, congratulations to Chase Badger, the Community One Player of the Week.
Again, the one last look at those numbers, Kenny. Tremendous stuff.
Right.
Passing and rushing. I love when you get a quarterback like that, because when they drop back, not only do they have that ability to run, but they have that ability to extend the play. So they're not stiff in the pocket, standing there. They're going to take a huge hit while they throw a slant. No, they're going to run around a little bit, try and see, could I take off? Can I just extend for a couple extra plays? And Chase Badger is definitely that guy. He is him. He is the one. The Community One Credit Union Player of the Week for us. An impressive performance there. Can I skip to my game?
Sure, go ahead.
Actually, before we do so, I didn't give you your chance. I'm sorry. What happened here?
This. You know what? I hate to say it this way. The best thing about yesterday's game was the pregame meal from Antonio Hall's mom, Venus. She made us. You talk about comfort food. I needed a nap after I ate, this meal. Here, homemade, in her kitchen. Here's what she made. Give me the food again, and I'll describe it. The big casserole there. That was a chicken noodle casserole, homemade. I had 3 helpings of that, Billy Beebe. All right, 3 big helpings of that. Then these are the homemade pies she made. There's strawberry in the back, and then up front, as you see, there was only 3 pieces left of the apple pie, and those are from apples. They have an apple tree, I guess, in their backyard, and she took the apples from the apple tree, made that. The salad, the dressing was phenomenal, and then the homemade, there's JT and I with Venus. The salad was great. The homemade rolls, and it was a feast. It fed, I think, 10 people yesterday in the press box at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. So Venus, you outdid yourself, and we're going to be updating the rankings throughout the year for the WHBC Food Fight Press Box Challenge, right? And that's right up there, Billy. I got to tell you, man, it felt like a home cooked. But now I know why Antonio's as big as he is and was an offensive lineman eating meals like that growing up. So thank you to Venus. It was fantastic.
That's tremendous. Yeah, that's not just his mom supporting the team, but supporting, the community and the people that cover the Bulldogs. I mean, she is full Bulldogs, taking care of everybody. Switching over to my game, this was a live one. Sandy Valley at East Canton. The floating storyline was somebody was going to get their first win. That was the big one. Sandy Valley had just played that Manchester team you just mentioned. Coach said the 2 points. That was Sandy Valley. They got the 2 points.
Okay.
And of course, they lost heartbreak to Fairless the week before. East Canton last week had lost heartbreak. They fumbled at the 1 yard line. Coach McDaniels talked a lot about that. You can go back and rewatch the game last night anytime you want on our YouTube channel when you subscribe. Great start to the game, Kenny. Really loved it. East Canton looked tremendous to start. Dylan Anderson here with the touchdown to get things going. And the Sandy Valley offense got things popping early. An immediate response. Look at this touchdown. Time for Lucas Gillen to relax, set his feet, make some lunch, eat some casserole, then get into the end zone. So that was an amazing start. Now, we've talked a ton about turnovers. 4 straight turnovers for East Canton. 4 straight. They all went for scores eventually. 2 of them were pick sixes. The other was a fumble and an interception that Sandy Valley scored immediately on. So essentially, Kenny, you go from 7-7 to 35-7. That's how quickly this game shifted. And we're talking about the first quarter still at this point. Some unluckiness and then just some playmaking by Sandy Valley. If you look at some of these creative,
tip drill,
they were on it.
Yeah, tip drill right there for the defensive back. Ball's tipped. You got to corral that, and they took it to the house. Oh, not another one, Billy. Is this another pick six?
Another pick six there. Yeah, another big man touchdown. I think middle linebacker. We'll ask Coach Gamble if he designates him as a big man.
Okay.
And yeah, tremendous play by the secondary. They sniffed out plays. They sniffed out the ball. They made things happen. Really, really impressive stuff from the Sandy Valley defense. However, as I said, Kenny, yes, they created turnovers and scored off turnovers. However, they would get a turnover and get the ball back. And what do you do after that? You have to score with your offense. And the two-man offense quarterback system worked perfectly for them. Graybill and Dubner had a night. Caleb Dubner got a little more time just because of how the defense went. They also had a rushing touchdown here by Jack Murphy. So all around, Sandy Valley was on it. They took advantage of every turnover. They created turnovers, and they utilized every single player on this offense.
We mentioned that Chase Badger was our player of the week, right? Well, how about the night that Lucas Gillen had? 2 receptions for 81 yards, right? 2 touchdowns. And an 88-yard kickoff return, Billy, as well in this one for Lucas. So you're talking about, big-time plays, and that's why right now it is time for our Marianne Donuts Sweet Play of the Week. And it happened in this game between East Canton and Sandy Valley as Lucas Gillen returns this kickoff and just runs away from everybody for 88 yards and the touchdown, helping the Cardinals pick up their first. Look at that. No big deal. I love that part, right? Watch him. Okay. So he takes the kick here, makes a break to the outside. They have it set up. He splits, the seam right there, and then boom, off to the races. Kicker ain't going to get him. Forget about it. But how about this? Act like you've been there before. Okay, 88 yards, touchdown. Marianne Donuts Sweet Play of the Week. And he tosses the ball, to the official. And I love that. And that's, a big play in helping the Cardinals beat East Canton 55-16 last night.
Definitely a sweet play there. And like you just talked about, Kenny, act like you've been there before. That was part of it. The other part of it was, of course, at that point it was 55-13. Sandy Valley really got out in front. I like that play because if we watch it again here,
all right,
he has that Josh Cribbs-esque, let me read this out. Let me take a second. Let me look around for a second, then go. It's not a frantic, I got to get going, I got to get moving. I like the hesitation there. I'll be interested to break that down with Coach Gamble later.
And show it one more time, Billy. And 2 moves, okay? You mentioned the hesitation here. Let's read it. Okay, I see how it's set up there. And then the cutback inside, right? And then this move right there. Just a little jab step, a shoulder shimmy to the inside. The kicker's going to bite on that like you were biting on those Marianne Donuts this morning. And he did. And then he takes it the rest of the way for the touchdown. And I remember this name from last year. He made big plays last year, Lucas Gillen, for Sandy Valley. And now he's playing a prominent role on this team this year and was a huge factor in them getting their first win last night over East Canton. There it is, the sprinkles. Your favorite, the chocolate with a little bit of icing on it. And you got the confetti-covered sprinkles all over that baby. And that is the championship breakfast of Billy Beebe every Saturday morning here on the Saturday Morning Huddle, Marianne Donuts.
That is, it's always sweet. When you stop in there, they're working fast, they're working quick. Donuts, coffee, whatever you need on a Saturday morning to kind of get things going.
Yep.
Now, I'm not, but I know so many people are seasonal.
Okay.
They love the pumpkin.
Right.
They love the pumpkin donut, the pumpkin coffee, the lattes, the iced coffee. Get in there. Got to try it. Marianne Donuts is on it early. I got to encourage people to get over there.
Billy, nothing better than when you walk in bright and early, right? Whatever day of the week it is, and the smell of a donut shop, right?
Yeah.
You just take it in, breathe it in, and it's like, all right, boom, your brain is saying, I need a dozen. And then you start picking. Give me the sugar, the glaze, the cinnamon, the apple filled, this whatever. And next thing you know, you got 3 dozen donuts you're walking out of there with. And hey, they're all good. They're all fabulous. Who doesn't like donuts, right? Homer Simpson may be the president of the official donut fan club, but all of us are a part of that as well.
Yeah, I would do the try my impression game here. The donuts, right? Isn't that Homer Simpson?
That is Homer. Very good. You're not too
okay.
You understand. Hey, that show's been on as long as you've been on planet Earth, man.
Longer probably. But we talked turnovers. We talked turnovers a ton. This was, and I was doing play-by-play on this game. I said, oh man, Coach McDaniels, do we have a shootout here? Do we have a back and forth? We were 2 minutes into this game and had 2 touchdowns, just bang, bang. And then it's a game breaker. 4 straight turnovers. And I will say probably 2 of them were created and the other 2 kind of were opportunistic for Sandy Valley here. But hey, you make the most of them, right? Guys are quick. They're athletic. When they get the ball in their hands, they get going.
You have to take advantage of mistakes, and that's exactly what Sandy Valley did in this game to pick up their first win. So, kudos to Coach Campbell. Spider Miller's he didn't sleep last night. He doesn't sleep a lot anyways on a Friday night. Usually, what do you say, 4 hours, 5 hours, I think. He probably slept less than that last night. But, the fact that the week before they had a chance to win and they came up short and then made more mistakes, that's something they need to correct moving forward. And you know what else, Billy? If you need to correct something with your car, we got to give a shout out to our title sponsor, right? Dan Brockers Import Automotive. This is the place whenever something goes wrong. We're talking turnovers in high school football when it's your vehicle, and they specialize in the maintenance and repair of European and Asian cars. This is the place to go. Give them a call, 330-966-3923. Tell them the Saturday Morning Huddle sent you, and they will take great care of you. Right, Billy?
Completely agree. You look at that list, Kenny, of things they can do for you, cars they can work on. Personally, just not knowledgeable about cars, not knowledgeable about what's going on. That's why you want to have a local place that isn't driven to up this or try and sell you that they know your car, they know you, they want to take care of you, and all the feedback and what we know about Brockers is that's what they're doing.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And JT and I always joke, you want a guy, you want a gal that you can go to, that you can trust, whatever it is. And, this is where you need to take your car whenever something isn't going right or just for regular maintenance, right? You want to make sure that your car is running properly. Dan Brockers Import Automotive Service, Repair, Diagnostic. They do it all. They've been around for many, many years, and we're proud to have them as the title sponsor here of the Saturday Morning Huddle. So thank you to Dan Brockers Import Automotive. Hey, Lake is off to a 3-0 start, Billy, as we get back to taking a look at what happened throughout Stark County last night. And Dan DeGeorge scheduled to join us at some point here this morning on the Saturday Morning Huddle. And Lake is a team that I love their balance, right? Offensively, defensively, They go into Brecksville last night, another road game. Remember,
Shutout.
Yeah, shutout, man. 20, put a donut up there. They put a Marianne donut up there, 24 to
Big
nothing.
0.
There you go. And so how about the fact that they go to McKeesport, Pennsylvania, and get a double overtime win? They go to Brecksville, and they pitch a shutout there. So this Lake team is for real, and I haven't done Ken's top 10 for week 3 just yet, but I'm giving you a little clue here that the number one team at the top of that list might be a team that wears the color blue. I'll just say that right now. How about that? I
like that, and I will officially deem there's an age-old saying, and I was talking with Coach Tom McDaniels last night on our broadcast. I'm killing this old saying. It's gone. It's dead. It doesn't have relevance, especially this year. When you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have a quarterback, right? How many times is that? That was true for the Cleveland Browns for however many years. It's done. That's gone. We got 3 teams in the county, Kenny, utilizing 2 quarterbacks very efficiently, winning games, smile on their face, very proud to do so. It seems the guys are in on it. That's the other thing when we talk with the players on these teams. Oh, yeah, no, it's no problem. We know when this guy's in, we're going to try this and do that, and he's good at this. And when another guy's in, he's going to try this and do that. So congrats to Lake on another big win. And we got somebody here we can kind of ask about that. Kenny, as Coach DeGeorge joins us live on the scene. He's got his reporter hat on. Coach, thanks for getting with us here.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. Sorry about being late. We had a kid get injured in the JV game I was dealing with, but appreciate it.
Kid okay, Coach? Everything good there?
Yes, he is. Thank you for asking.
Okay. Yeah, yes. No, most important thing, health first, always. Family first, health first. We always preach that no matter what. So, Coach, didn't see any of the details in the paper this morning, right? So take us through your road win, another one for you, 3-0 start. You go to Brecksville, you beat the Bees 24 to nothing.
Yeah, the first thing, we've actually had some issues with our stat program the first couple weeks, and it's been sort of a pain because we don't have the stats right away, but it's also been the greatest thing that's ever happened to us because no one's worried about how many carries or how many tackles anybody has. So we're working through that. Hopefully that'll be solved this week. But our kids played hard last night. It was a rough night condition-wise, very wet, rained the whole time, rained hard. Defensively, we had a great game plan. Coach Viscount had those guys ready to roll. Offensively, we did some good things. We ran the football pretty successfully. In hindsight, we probably should have scored 40 points. We turned the ball over a couple times in the red zone, but we'll take it. It was a good win on a tough night. It's going to get a lot tougher now. Getting the Federal League, we know everything changes. So we're happy with where we're at, but we have a long way to go.
And Coach, turnover seemed to be a theme for multiple teams. We talked with Coach John DeMarco about it, but when a turnover does happen, whether it be a fumble, an interception, how do you get your guys to move on? How do you keep it at just 1 or 2 turnovers and not let it get to 5 or 6?
Sure. We constantly are preaching about next play, whether it's a good play or whether it's a bad play. The way you get through this game, man, is you only worry about what's in front of you. And our kids did a good job of that last night. There was some frustration at times because there were some bad snaps because of the weather. We dropped a few balls because of the weather, but Brecksville was dealing with that as well. So again, just trying to put it past you and give your best effort on the next play. And I'm glad you brought up Coach DeMarco. I got to give him a call today and tell him congratulations on his win last night. That was a good win for him.
Yeah, always a big win. I know he was on your staff after he got let go at Louisville. You respect him so much like I do. So kudos to both you guys. 3-0 starts. What's been the key, Dan? What's been the key through 3 games, 3 totally different opponents, different places to play, and yet here you are still undefeated?
Yeah, I mean, we'll start with just having a great group of kids, and they're buying into what we're doing. None of them are caring about who gets the football or who gets carries or how many catches we get. We have a sign above both our entrances to our locker room that says, if you're not willing to put the team first, turn around. And our kids are buying into that, right? So, again, not worrying about stats. Are we perfect? Are we even good yet? No, we're not. We have a long way to go. We'll find out more this week, obviously, when we have to face a tough Perry team. But our kids' effort has just been great. So I'm super proud of them. And finding ways to get better is going to be the key.
Coach Dan DeGeorge of the Lake Blue Streaks joining us here on the Dan Brockers Import Automotive Saturday morning. Coach, appreciate you waking up with us. when we talk to coaches before the season, right? These first 3 games, these first couple games, they schedule them to maybe make things difficult and get them ready for the Federal League. As you have Federal League play coming up, what is that going to do for your team to play those games?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the Federal League, in my opinion, is the toughest league in the state overall from top to bottom, just because of the quality of coaching staffs you have, the quality communities, just a lot of tough kids all over the place. So finding games that prep you for that long haul in the league is a really good thing. It's easier said than done because, again, the league is what it is. But our first 3 weeks, we've seen a couple different offenses. We've seen some really good defenses. So we think we put ourselves in a good position to hopefully have some success. But as I mentioned a few times, I know it's going to get a lot tougher as we get into the league.
Yeah, and the league is this coming Friday night on the road again for you guys. This will be your 3rd road game in 4 games to start the season. And Perry, yes, they lost last night, but talk about turnovers. They had a bunch and probably should have won. They should be undefeated. So going up against Zach Slates and, oh, yeah, the old man on the sidelines. Welcome to my field, Keith Wakefield Stadium, right? So what's it going to be like going up against Perry and their coaching staff and that team that's off to a good start?
Yeah, they're very good, and they have most of their starters back from last year. And then obviously the addition of Coach Wakefield back is helping them all over the place. I actually saw Coach Durbin this week, and I said to him, hey, Coach Wakey's back. It's time for you to come back and coach with us again. And he just chuckled, but I'll stay on him about that. But no, Perry's very well coached, very fundamentally sound. And you're right. They should have won that game last night. They had the opportunities. They were in the red zone a few times and uncharacteristically turned the ball over, but very sound defensively. Kids are very well coached. So it's just going to be a dogfight, but we're looking forward to the opportunity.
I think Wakefield Durbin sounds like a pay-per-view event. I would definitely pay to watch that. Coach, you've joined us for 3 years, coming on this Saturday, wearing different gear. You've had hoodies, you've had throwovers, polos. Do you have a favorite piece of Lake?
I like the one he's wearing right now, man. I like that hoodie right there.
I appreciate it. My as I mentioned before, my closet's pretty much just all Lake gear. That's really all I have. So I get up early in the morning and I grab something when it's dark. I don't want to wake my wife up yet. And sometimes I pick some good stuff. Sometimes I don't. But no, I'm blessed to be where I'm at. And thanks to Beatty's, our local sports shop here, they take care of us and provide a lot of great options, I guess.
Hey, Billy, Coach DeMarco said he liked the red on us. I normally wouldn't wear blue, but that hoodie that he's wearing I might even wear that blue hoodie right there.
See what I can do for you, man.
Are we going to see red jerseys eventually, Coach? I haven't seen that red often.
No, you'll never see red jerseys under my watch here. No, maybe a little bit of red throughout, but it's not one of our main colors at all.
Coach, the expectations coming into this year, you've done a great job with this program. What, year number 12 for you there now? Is that what it is?
Yes, I believe that's correct. Yes.
Yeah. So you've built this program, right? And when people talk Lake football, Dan DeGeorge, the name is synonymous with it now, and you've got it moving in the right direction. What's been the key to maintain what you built as far as the culture, but also winning football?
Yeah, let me start with first. I didn't build anything by myself. I was lucky enough to coach for a long time under one of the best, and Coach Jeff Durbin. I have a great coaching staff. Coach Viscount's been with me for the long haul as well. He's one of the best defense coordinators around. So it's a great place to be. You win with people, and I have a great coaching staff, as I mentioned, guys that are dedicated not just to winning football games, but to kids in our community. They love them like their own son. So when you have good people working with you and for you, you got a chance. And we've had a couple decent years, and we like to just keep building that going into the future. Absolutely.
And Billy, how about this? Our Altman Health Systems radio game of the week this coming Friday night. Lake on the road at Perry High School in the Federal League Lid Lifter. And we look forward, Coach, to maybe chatting with you during the week and previewing that game and then seeing you on the sidelines Friday night, hopefully in drier weather, though.
Yes, absolutely. And again, looking forward to it. Just going to be a really great Stark County atmosphere being down at Perry and two quality teams going at each other. And hopefully it'll be enjoyable to watch.
Coach, thank you for waking up with us. We appreciate it. We know you got a lot going on. So jumping on location, always fun. Thank you.
Absolutely. And thanks again for what you guys do. Appreciate it.
Dan DeGeorge, love the way he approaches things. And how about that, Billy? I wrote it down. If you're not willing to put the team first, turn around. I mean, that's the message right there. And it's similar. And let me get my phone out from last night because I was taking cover at times last night, underneath the stadium. And I'll get to this real quick. And Kaz Tech, their coaches had a shirt on, right? And their motto was this: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So 2 different ways from 2 different teams and coaching staffs of preaching that it's togetherness, that it's teamwork that is going to win you football games.
So many of these local programs, that's the best thing to watch, Kenny, is the players working together, number one, and then these coaching staffs working together. And Coach DeGeorge said it too. One of the reasons things are so great locally is communities, right? So yes, players play, and mainly it's the players that make it happen. Coaches next. And then, if you don't have that community support, if you don't have those fans in the stands, it's tough to get out there, go at it, and play. So really exciting to see Lake off to this great start. I'm itching for Federal League play. We got that taste week 2. It took 2 weeks because the Stark County had a rough week 1. But week 2, it hit, and it was like, all right, the Federal League's going to be great. Then you get Jackson with a win last night. You get other teams winning, teams that felt like they should have won. And it's like, man, Federal League play is going to be something really, really interesting coming up.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? I'm going to get up. I'm going to take my earbuds off, right? Coach talked about waking up right now. I'm not a morning person, BB. So the Saturday morning huddles, it's early for me. And he talked about hoodies and things like that. I'm going to walk over. Well, I'm not going to walk over. I'll just point over that way. See that? That's a rack of hoodies right there. Those are all Buckeye hoodies. So when we're done and getting ready a little bit later on, that's where I go to grab my hoodie. And it's funny how coaches and, go blue, go pups. They always end, conversations that we have with them and everything like that. But I love the different gear that everybody is wearing. It is a booming, but God bless you. If you're in that business, you're making some serious cash. And we always talk about Logan Sports with Andy Logan and everything in Stark County. There are other places throughout the area that do this. I love the different ideas that people come up with, kids come up with, and you see all the different gear that the coaches and the players and that are wearing. And I'm a hoodie guy. So when I saw that hoodie the coach was wearing today, I'm like, damn, that's a nice hoodie right there. It's blue, and I don't wear, as you can tell, this, and those are my Buckeye hoodies over there. I don't wear much blue, but that Lake one was pretty sweet.
And it's like Coach said, it stacks up over time, right? Yep. I mean, he's 12 years in. You can't imagine. I should have asked him if he still has a hat from 2013 or 14 that he still kind of sports a little bit. We've got another guest coming up in just a minute, Kenny. We'll have Coach Brian Gamble along with 2 of the playmakers, difference makers from his team right now. Before we do that, I think this is a great insight into the weather last night.
Okay.
Frank Salona with Brian Gamble after the game. That interview of what happened there. Kicking it down to Frank Salona. He is with Coach Brian Gamble, and the rain is the third guest in this one. Frank.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Coach Brian Gamble joins us. You got your first win, and what a way to get it. Everything worked well tonight, offense, defense, special teams.
Yeah, we challenge these guys. Going 0-2, it's something new in my career. It's something new for these guys in a long time. We challenge these guys. We challenge our seniors. We're inches away week 1. Week 2 we came out flat in the second half, and we learned a valuable lesson there in week 2. And then, we came out here. I just wanted to see 4 quarters of football, and I think we saw most of it. There's still some things we got to correct, but I thought we played a much better game.
Talk a little bit about your defense. We talked a lot about it during the game. Micah Huffroth come up big, pick 6, another interception, yet another pick 6 defensively. Those kids were flying all over the field tonight.
Yeah, they were, man. Just, again, we challenge our defense all the time, and they made big plays. Like I said, a bunch of picks, a bunch of turnovers. These guys get to the football. We just say it's about effort, though. It's about effort, and he's getting to the football, and they did that tonight. They did a great job. And again, just proud of our guys, proud of our coaching staff. Coach Thomas does a great job. Ben and Fred and our coaching staff over there, and they do a great job. And like I said, these guys, that's the hard work they put in.
Coach, how do you build off of this now? You got your win. Now you've got a streak now of games that you can win, certainly, and you can build off of this. How do you do it?
We just keep getting better, man. I mean, that's it. Keep chopping that wood, baby. We're going to keep doing it, and then we'll see what happens, So, again, we're going to try to get better. We're going to get better on the film tomorrow, and we're going to get better next week. We're just going to see what happens. These guys are young, man. They're hungry. They want to win.
All right, Coach. Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Congratulations.
it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Go Cards.
Guys, back up to you.
All-timer.
Billy, I give it to Frank. I went for cover. I did. You know why? I didn't have the raincoat. Frank's Mr. Big Bucks, right? He's got better wardrobes than I. He's got all kinds. So he's got the raincoat of all raincoat. I had an Ohio State poncho that I've had for probably 15 years. And I said this on the air. No kidding. I said on the air, make sure if you're taking a poncho with you because you think it's going to rain, it doesn't have holes in it because you will get wet. I was soaked, and that's why I went for cover last night various times. I was on the field for most of the game, but Kuda, can you just put the video up one more time?
It's going to cut you off, just so you know. It'll cut your noise
That's
off.
okay. Go ahead.
We'll
Put it
watch
up.
it for a couple seconds here. Kicking it down to Frank Salona. He is with Coach Brian Gamble, and the rain is the third guest in this one. Frank?
All right, guys, thank you so much. Coach Brian Gamble joins us. You got your first win, and what a way to get it. Everything worked.
There you go.
Kudos to him, man. Stellar job. He did it. He outperformed, I think, every other sideline reporter in the country last night. So a tip of the WHBC cap to Frank Salona for last night.
Yeah, let's ask Coach here. Coach Brian Gamble and a couple of his players joining us now. Coach, were you surprised that Frank stuck it out and wanted an interview after all that?
No, man, he's a Sandy Valley alum. He's one tough cookie. You know what I mean? He's built a little different. You know what I'm saying? So,
Coach, he's different, all right. Yeah, we know that. Frank's different.
he's built a little different, man. No, he did a great job, and like I said, I'm still a little wet. I think I'm still drying out. So,
I want to shoot right into it with we got Zach with us, correct?
We have Lucas Gillen.
Or Lucas, I'm sorry.
We have Wes Little, our starting center. Yep.
And Lucas, we got to get to you right away because this kick return was our Marianne Donuts sweet play of the week. Walk us through this one.
Yeah. So my buddy, he told me that the left side was going to be wide open, and I paused for a little bit and waited for it to open up, and it opened up.
And it looked like when you caught that kickoff, you kind of hesitated, right? Were you reading the field a little bit?
Yeah, I was waiting for him to all crash right there.
And Coach, what did you think here?
Number one, when it was kind of a little bit more of a line drive kick, so he knew he had time. So being a patient runner that he is and the vision that he has, letting his block set up and then burst through this, find the seam, burst through it, and don't ever let the kicker tackle you.
All right, I've got to say, Lucas, who was your buddy that gave you the blueprint to success there? Give him a little love out there because he proved to be prophetic on that.
Luke Williams.
All right, so Luke Williams, kudos to you, and then Lucas Gillen with the touchdown run there, 88-yard kickoff return. And Lucas, nice little shoulder shimmy there to make sure the kicker didn't get you, right?
Yep.
And guys, undoubtedly the key in this game was the 4 turnover set that your defense had. Was it crazy just to watch 4 in a row on that little set?
Yeah, it's just great to see these guys get to the football. We did a lot of things with disguising our coverage. We knew that they wanted to throw the short game and throw screens. They were RPOing and reading our Mike linebacker. Once we figured that out, we were sugaring him just to make them throw it. And then he would look like he was going inside, and we went against the RPO, which that last tipped. And then again, the same kid. That's Jaden Floyd right there rumbling around. I heard you guys earlier. That is a fullback, 240 pounds. He is a big man, but he tell you what, he can run a little bit. And that's a guy that can he sugared the coverage, went against the RPO game. And once we figured that part out, again, we can create problems. That's for sure.
I'm looking at these highlights, Coach, defensively, and Billy told me four consecutive possessions, a couple of pick sixes. Yeah. Have you been involved with anything like that defensively, where on consecutive, time after time after time, you come up with turnovers?
Well, I mean, I don't know if we've been on one that quick. You know, I look up the scoreboard. It feels like the third quarter. We're still in the first quarter. I'm like, take. You know what I mean? All these plays, literally we watched the film together right now, and it felt like an hour and a half just to get through this. You know, all the stuff that we were doing right and wrong. But I tell you, they did a amazing job. You know, just creating it. You know, I said earlier when I spoke with you guys, you know, we were on the other half of it in the week one. We started. That's our one positive in week two was that we started to create turnovers. Then you saw what happened in week three.
And Coach, want to give you the opportunity to kind of introduce us to the other guest you brought with you.
Absolutely. This is Wes Little. He's our captain, 3-year starter for us. He's he's an all-district player at center. He also plays our nose. He's a two-way player. He's a gap stuffer, and he's an incredible leader. Wes Little.
And
All right, Wes. Go ahead, Billy. I've got one for him, but you go ahead.
Offense looked just as good last night. I mean, you guys would get the ball back and then create something. What was the feeling in the huddle on offense when you guys were scoring so much?
Oh, it was great. Just touchdown after touchdown. The energy was high, and it was just a good feeling. Finally get some points on the board this year and get our first win.
Yeah, you guys broke out in a big way, Wes. And with the weather last night, the most important player on the field on offense, in my opinion, is the center. How are you dealing with the crazy weather that came, throughout that game and making sure that your quarterback was getting the ball where it needed to be every time you snapped it?
And just keep a fresh towel, keep it dry, and get it back there.
Come on, there's got to be more. No stickum or anything like that. Just an old-fashioned towel got the job done last night?
No, you got to be physical, of course, but
okay.
Snap first is what my coach always tells me, and
keep her dry, let her fly, man.
All right, that's it. I'm writing that one down. I'm writing all these things down this morning, Billy. Yeah.
And Coach, 2 quarterbacks for you last night. I know Caleb got a little bit of extra time, maybe because the defense was scoring. How are you kind of managing 2 very talented quarterbacks, their time, how they're helping your team, everything going on with that?
Well, first off, we have to have open communication. And what I mean by that is that we have to openly be comfortable with rotating guys in. You know, if one guy's, bitter, this guy's bitter. These guys are very high character guys. These are one of our highest character guys on our team. So they're comfortable with high-fiving as the other guy's going in. And that's a big thing for us. That is number one. And number two, both these guys can do dynamic things for us. We know that, with Drew, he's steady Eddie with us. He can get guys set up. Again, he can handle the rock. He can with our mesh, everything else that we do. He does a great job with that. And then as you witnessed last night, Caleb Dubner can be dynamic. He can make things happen with his legs. He's a dual threat guy. He can put the ball, throw the deep ball really well. Again, it's just creating more problems for the defense.
I'm curious from Lucas as a wide receiver, Lucas. Any adjustment period, from quarterback to quarterback, or no? The ball, I don't care who throws it. I'm going to catch it no matter what.
What you just said, the last thing you just said for sure.
So, because we hear sometimes there's a different spin or a different release point, and sometimes receivers have to adjust to that, but that doesn't seem to be a problem here, correct?
Nope, about the same ball from both of them.
Okay, very good. That makes it easy, Coach, right?
It does, especially when you're being smart with your reps in practice. You know what I mean? You're not just overloading one or the other. You're equally, you're trying to get the same plays in for the same timing. And so that you have to be very, very cognizant of how you're scripting your plays throughout the week, who's getting what reps, and so that everybody's comfortable with each and every play and everybody's getting the rep at each quarterback and all the receivers are seeing those balls being thrown at them. So, again, you have to be very cognizant of how you script it and how it's worked throughout the week.
All right, I want to ask both the guys this because we got to ask your players this last year, Coach, and we got great answers. So we'll start with Wes. Wes, what is your game day routine? Take us through your pregame meal, what you're doing after school. We'll skip the game, and then what you're doing after the game. Tell us.
I always get Subway right after school, go home and get all my stuff gathered up. I like to get to the school early and lock in, listen to my music, and go out there and play my hardest.
Now, if you guys win, what are you doing after?
Oh, it's a party in the locker room for sure.
That's the way to go. And Lucas?
So I get off school at 2:25, and I go up to my mom. I go eat my mom's food. I either gonna get chicken and rice from Chipotle or Mr. Hibachi, and then I'm going to the school and getting a leg massage, or it's like leg therapy.
Yep.
And then go play the game. Have a party in the locker room after.
What a way to I like it.
Hey, throw it to Coach too. What's Coach Campbell's pregame routine?
The only thing that I'm doing, I do the same thing every time. I have a pepperoni roll in a blue Powerade, and I eat it afterwards. I don't eat before, never.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I can't do it. I don't know if it's a Coach Dennison thing or whatnot to be hungry for a victory, stuff. But no, but I have the same routine as always with that. My only thing is if I can, I try to get a shower in. That's my thing before game. I don't know why, I just do it. And then again, we get ready to go, man. And we get ready for our meetings. We have meetings before our quarterback meetings, skill meetings, DBs, all that stuff. We have all of our meetings, preparation for that before, and we have all of our position meetings, our pregame position meetings before we get suited up to go out or to go travel on the bus. So there's a lot of preparation that goes in right before before we're getting on the bus. We have to get our meetings ready, or if it's a home game, just getting stuff ready to go for our meetings, ready to go. So these guys are, for our last seconds with them before we kick off, that we try to cross every T, dot every I right before we go out.
Details are important, Billy, as we're learning, talking with all these different coaches. One more thing for Wes. You said Subway, Wes. What's the go-to sub for you, or does it rotate?
I'm a chicken bacon ranch guy.
Okay. The chicken. I like the All-American Club if I'm heading there. So that's my go-to one there. So, but I got to try that. So chicken bacon ranch. All right. I'm going to give that a try. Hey, if I want to put some pounds, I want to be a big guy, right, Coach? I got to eat like the big guy. So I got to go for that next time.
That's right, man. Go heavy, baby. If you want to put some LBs on, you know what I mean?
And Coach, I'm just happy to see. I know your guys last year were trying to peer pressure you into an energy drink pregame, and you kind of held them off. Guys, he doesn't need it, right?
No,
definitely not.
What are you saying? You say I'm a maniac or something?
What? Hey, guys, seriously, what's it like playing for him? Because he comes off that way, and it's who he is. So both of you, Wes, you go first, and then Lucas, what's it like playing for Coach Campbell?
He definitely works to build the family aspect. We're just a big family here at Sandy, and he keeps the energy high. His pregame speeches are always great, and especially we always pray before we go out onto the field, and that's the one thing that really gets me fired up, gets me ready for the game.
Lucas, how about you playing for this guy?
Yeah, building off what he said, he's an amazing motivator and a great coach as well.
There you go, Coach. Great stuff from your players there. Great stuff from the Cardinals last night. Again, if anybody wants to rewatch that game, it is on our YouTube channel, so you guys can go back and check that out. And congratulations on the first win of the season. Hoping to see plenty more.
Guys, once again, thank you for having us on. You guys do an amazing job throughout the season. We just appreciate you guys' coverage throughout the season for high school sports in general. Again, just thanks for having us on, and go Cards.
Go Cards. Good luck the rest of the way, guys. All right, so chicken bacon ranch is my next time I'm at Subway, Billy. That's what I'm trying in honor of Wes Little, the starting center and defensive lineman for the Sandy Valley Cardinals.
Yeah, I'll co-sign that, Kenny. I'm gonna check in with Coach Rohr here, see if we can get him on.
And the other one, keep it dry, let it fly. I like it. Don't let the rain. It's like, okay, we're wimps compared to football players, right? As announcers on the sideline, we complain about everything. Those guys got to block it out. So if the motto is already there, keep it dry, let it fly, then, hey, you're not going to worry about the rain. And did you, Frank did a great job again with the raincoat.
Yeah.
But there was Coach Gamble just with the hat, and it's like he didn't even realize it was raining out there when he was talking with Frank post-game last night.
Well, I'll say nobody mentioned it, but I do feel like if I'm in coach's gear or player gear, I mean, you're just ready to get wet, right? That's just what's going on. So, for those guys, I feel like they're real into it there, but appreciate that. Thank you from Coach too. We love high school football 80th year of coverage on WHBC 1480. 80 years we've been covering high school football. The station itself coming up on 100 years. Local coverage is something we work very hard at. Last night was very clear to me, Kenny, the talent that we have and how it kind of brings out the best coverage we can because we love doing it, right? So
it's a passion.
Exactly. You get a Tom McDaniels that wants to join us. You get a Frank Salona that's down on the sideline and is sitting in the rain. Bob Jeffries is squeezed in a small chair doing stats. You guys had Denny Kincaid recovering from back surgery, but still wanted to be doing stats. So we had a great time last night on our usual coverage. And again, a supporter of us here on the Saturday Morning Huddle, which means they're a supporter of high school football and local coverage, is Dan Brocker's Import Automotive. Easiest way to get in contact with them, up top to the left there, their email, up top to the right. That's their phone number. Look, when you don't know a carburetor from a defibrillator, when you've got car troubles, head over to Dan Brocker's Import Automotive. Plenty of options, plenty of cars that they can work on and help you out with, and a good opportunity there, Kenny, to give us good support.
It's all about teamwork, right? No matter what you're doing, whether it's football, whether it's a radio, TV, streaming broadcast, or working on cars. They know what they're doing. They have a great team doing it, and they've been doing it for many, many years. So, yes, we're proud to have them as the title sponsor here of the Saturday Morning Huddle. And let's give our teams, I should say, right? Radio broadcast last night. Dan Belford, Mark Miller, Denny Kincaid back, and I'm roaming the sidelines when I'm not undercover from, the rainstorms. And the YouTube game last night, you along with Coach McDaniels and Frank and Bob Jeffries, and then Ethan Jenkins and Derek Philo handling our streaming game. So 3 different teams, but we're all one team, right? We're trying to bring you as many games and do the best job as we can each and every week. And then we take all of that, Billy, and what do? We wake up Saturday morning and we give you the Dan Brocker's Import Saturday Morning Huddle, taking you in and around Stark County. And do we have time to run through the scores right now, Billy, or we got another guest?
Let's squeeze in one last guest here.
Let's do it.
Fresh off a victory, first victory of the season, Coach Jay Rohr. Coach, thank you for joining us. Hold on here. We'll get him set up.
Technology problems. While we wait to get Coach Rohr on with us, Jackson gets their first win as they take care of Stowe last night at Fife Stadium. The final was 31-7. They outgained Stowe by 250 yards, basically. Christian Satterfield with a big game last night, 214 on the ground. Lucas Eckerman threw for 96 and 2 more scores. And Noah Calando with 2 more touchdown grabs. Now we bring in the head coach, smiling this morning, deservedly so. Coach Jay Rohr joining us on the huddle. How are you this morning, Coach?
Hey, I'm doing well. I appreciate you guys. I apologize for the lateness. Unfortunately, I'm over here at North Canton watching our JV and our freshman teams play.
No problem. We get it,
okay.
Coach. You got to take care of your family first. We get it, but just thanks for joining us. Go ahead, Billy.
Yeah,
absolutely. Thanks, guys.
We know you guys have a ton going on. Coach, you snagged win number 1 there in week 3. What was the message to your team those first 2 weeks to kind of let them know, hey, that first win's coming?
Yeah, I think, again, I've said it over and over again, just there's no concept of a moral victory. We know that we play 2 tough teams that are going to do well in their respective schedules. And we just said, just continue to buy in. The coaches are going to coach you hard. We're going to put you in the best positions. And again, this week in practice and really every week so far, our players, they only know one thing, and that's continue to work hard. They work hard each week in practice. We focus on the fundamentals, and we do a great job on all 3 phases of the game throughout the course of the week. So just their initial buy-in, we got great leaders and great leadership in regards to those guys and captains. When they believe in each other, they're willing to work hard. They know good things are still going to come.
Coach, I'm always curious from a head coach's perspective, right? You start 0-2, but as you mentioned, you play tough teams. So you have to maybe light a fire under some kids, pat others on the back. The psychological approach of a coach for Jay Rohr, how do you handle that, knowing there are so many different personalities in a locker room?
Well, To be honest with you, I just think it's like I said, when you talk about our leadership and you guys mentioned, the first 2 weeks, obviously we're coming up with losses. These guys, they hate to lose. So there's not a lot of motivation technically from us. It's like I said, it's their willingness to continue to come to work, to continue to believe in each other. But, our kids do not like to lose, and them believing in each other, they know good things are still to come. And again, we're blessed to get a victory last night against Stowe.
Coach, your quarterback, Lucas Eckerman, coming off a very tough injury at the end of last season. How's he looked this year? How's his health and kind of his work ethic to get back healthy?
Again, Lucas is a phenomenal man, a young man that is, and a tremendous player, as you guys know. He has done everything in the offseason to get himself ready for the season. Coming into it, to me, the biggest thing was the mental aspect. You coming back from a serious injury, how are you going to be mentally when you do have live bullets coming at you, and to be able to stand in the pocket and still have the confidence to run the football. And he's done a tremendous job. I think the other thing is worth noting is again, we have a whole new offense coordinator. We have a whole new offensive system. So really, as a freshman and a sophomore, and now going into his junior year, he's learning completely different styles of offenses. So his growth and his maturity and his understanding of what defenses are trying to do, he's grown tremendously, and I think that's a blessing. Having an injury, you have to learn the mental part of the game, and he did just that. So proud of Lucas, to the start of the season, and looking for more great things to come.
You win 31-7 last night, a convincing win for you. Christian Satterfield, 26 carries for 214 and 2 touchdowns of 24 and 67 yards. Was he the focal point of the game plan going in, or is that something that developed as you saw things happening out there?
Probably a combination of both. I mean, Mother Nature had a little something to do with it, with the torrential downpour that we were getting at Fife Stadium. But ultimately, we know that we have some weapons on the outside. We know what Lucas can do throwing the football. But we have a tremendous group of young men up front that, again, they want the ball ran behind them. And certainly with Christian Satterfield and Foster Stanley and Baron Reardon, I mean, these guys want to run the football as well. So it is a vocal point in regards to us as coaches. We want to be able to run the football and get a little more smash mouth football in there, knowing that we have the ability to throw the ball at any time. So absolutely going to the game is something that we were looking to do.
Coach, at our coaches dinner this past about a month ago, a lot of the coaches noted to me that helping with the younger guys, being at the JV games is important. Talk about why you're there right now, what you can do for them to kind of help better your program and better them before they get to varsity.
Yeah, I just think, again, the JV, the freshmen, those are our future, right? We live in the present. We certainly want to win on Friday nights, but we brought the kids in early for the film session, and it might have a little bit to do that it is our rival as well. But we got the kids in for the film session early this morning and got our varsity over here to watch those guys. We heard a great message the other day, and just being a fountain, and what the fountain brings is the water continues to come, positivity and so forth. And we've really emphasized that this week, and certainly last night and today. Just continue to cheer on your teammates, to be there for one another. And I think it's a positive thing when your head coach is there watching or whether it's evaluating and seeing what you're bringing to the table from a freshman and JV level.
What was the key defensively last night, Coach, as you held them to 7 points?
I mean, defensively, it's got to be our strength. We do bring back a lot of guys from the defensive side of the ball. Those guys, again, they're relentless. They bring a physical mentality, and I truly believe that. Like I said, they take the coaching. They know their roles. We simplify things defensively, and we ask them to run to the ball with great passion, relentless effort, however you want to put it. And those guys are willing to do it. And when we do those things, you'll get the results that we had last night.
Coach, headed into Federal League play, your general thoughts before you kind of step into the gauntlet that is local football here in Stark County?
Yeah, again, I don't like to look forward. Obviously, we have Mayfield this week, right? And they bring our own challenges that we have to get ready for. But again, you never know what to expect in Federal League and Stark County football, and certainly the Federal League. I know there's a lot of good teams off to a great start. Certainly between Lake and McKinley and Perry and even Hoover, all those teams. And I don't know if anyone's played a harder schedule than what Coach Garcia has done at Glen Oaks. So
Yeah.
I don't take them very lightly either. Coach Geis at Green, just all those guys are doing a tremendous job. They're well-coached teams. Again, just look forward to when the Federal League play comes.
Coach, you take it week by week. You want to get better. You have another opportunity to do that before you get into Federal League play. Congratulations on the first win. Hopefully the first of many for you this year. And
Amen.
We'll see you down the road somewhere on the sidelines. All right?
Hey, guys. Appreciate you guys having me. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Good win for them last night, Billy. 31-7 over Stowe. Convincing win for them. They need that. Yeah, I know that everybody hates to lose. Some hate it more than others, right? But anytime you get a win, it boosts that confidence, right? That belief. Now they can go on the road at Mayfield this week and hopefully get another win for Jackson.
And again, thanks to Coach Jay Roy there. I know you're at JV games. You already had film. You had the game last night, exhausted, and still kind of gets trapped in a corner to talk with us. And one other thing to talk about, Kenny's got it right there. Pocket schedules still available. I should have been reading mine. I thought Jackson was heading into Federal League play. I made that mistake. So, hey, that's the good thing to know. When you have that pocket schedule, you can pick it up at the radio station. Hunt down me, hunt down Kenny Rhoda. I'm sure we'll have some on us at the game. So get your hands on that. That QR code that Kenny's showing there, you scan that with your phone. That'll take you to our broadcast schedule. So that'll let you know, such as the YouTube game is McKinley at Glen Oak next week. The radio game, tune in this. What's your game next week?
We are on the road again at Perry as Lake takes on Perry in a Federal League matchup. So while Jackson still isn't in the Fed, a lot of teams are. So, you pick this baby up and I carry, Billy, I had to throw mine away from last night that was in my bag that got soaking wet, right? I've got one in my wallet. I've got one in my car. I've got one on my desk right here. I'll put one in my bag once it dries out. This is the roadmap to all things high school football in Stark County, our 80th year of doing it. So pick one up, see me. Hopefully I'll have some dry ones I can hand you out if you see me on the sidelines at Perry this week.
All right, before we wrap up, let's get to a great tradition here. Kenny reads the scores. I play the highlights. You get your fastest whatever in Stark County football here. Let's do it, partner.
All right, we just had Coach Rohr on. Jackson with a 31-7 win over Stowe, so congratulations. They pick up win number 1. Lake picks up win number 3 as they shut out Brecksville last night, 24-0. Thanks to Coach DeGeorge for coming on with us. Unfortunately, Marlington Falls to Manchester yesterday, 40-0. Central Catholic off to a rough start. They are 0-3, but they put up 37 points in their loss yesterday to Orville. They lose 59-37. Better days ahead for Trucker Lindesmith and the Crusaders. Brian Gamble joined us just a little while ago, and we're seeing some of their highlights right here. Sandy Valley blast East Canton 55-16. They pick up their first win of the season. The Flock is flying high in Fairless, 28-6 winners over Claymont last night. They are now 3-0 under head coach AJ Sarbaugh. McKinley falls to 1-2. That was our radio game that we did last night as Detroit Caz Tech out of Michigan beat McKinley 20-3. McKinley on the road next week at Glen Oak, the only team that beat them in the Federal League last year. That should be a great Federal League matchup to start play in the Fed for them. Massillon has their 18-game losing streak Massillon has their 18-game winning streak come to an end as they do something they haven't done in a while, and that's lose. They fall to Bergen Catholic out of New Jersey, a 3-time state champion, by the way. 35-21 was the final in that one. Jameer Gamble, 98 yards and a touchdown for Massillon. Jalen Slaughter threw for $132 and a score, but it was tied 21-all at the half. Massillon doesn't score in the second half, and they fall 35-21. They're now 2-1 this season, and what a heck of a run, man. 18 games in a row, Billy, before somebody finally knocked them off. That's a great run no matter what sport, right?
Extremely impressive. They bring teams in from out of state all the time. They travel out of state all the time.
Yep.
The key with that one there, Kenny, that I looked up right away about Bergen Catholic is national ranking. Bergen Catholic 23, Massillon 24. So, I mean, you had a equal, if not ranked, better opponent coming to see you. And when they make that trip, they got to have their mindset right. Seemed like a great game, though, obviously tied at 21 going in a half. Massillon's got big score capability. So, I mean, really, even if it's at 1 minute, I could peg the Tigers to score twice in a minute. I've seen it. And you said very impressive by the Tigers to have a run like that. And we know from a couple different teams, when you've got that tough schedule and you play tough teams, it's just going to make you better later on. So playing a Bergen Catholic, playing a St. Ed's, coming in here, what is that, 2 weeks away, I believe?
Let's see. That is Friday, September 20th. Massillon is at St. Ed's. They've defeated St. Ed's the last 2 years, so they're not afraid to play anybody, Massillon. Yeah. And Nate even said after the game, I was reading, we want to play good teams. It's going to make us better. And so, they get a loss, but everybody makes the playoffs, so losses early in the season really don't matter. You hope to build and get better as the season progresses.
We mentioned it multiple times. Teams stacked their schedules up. Glen Oak's a great example of this. They're not afraid to play a tough schedule because when the Federal League comes, when the playoff comes, they're ready because they played a Massillon. For Glen Oak specifically, they played a Massillon already. They'll be ready to go for the Federal League. And Jay Rohr just said it, Kenny. They don't care that Glen Oak might be 0-3. They know who they played. They saw what they did against those teams. Odds are they're going to bring it against them. So we've got a ton of great games coming up. You want to go to WHBCsports.com to see what games we're broadcasting, when, and how.
All right, let's get to some of the other scores from last night. Northwest defeats Louisville 35-28. John DeMarco was on with us a little while ago. They're 3-0. Louisville falls to 1-2, but Chris Kappas, like I said, has that program headed in the right direction. Almost, Billy, almost last night. The Minerva Lions had a 31-game losing streak going into their game against Springfield, and the Lions came up a touchdown short. They lose to Springfield 13-7. For Springfield, Billy, that snaps their 29-game losing streak. So next up for Minerva, they've got Sandy Valley at home, and they've got St. Thomas at home, their next 2 games. So they're hoping one of those 2 will help them snap their 32-game losing streak. Perry loses for the first time, 2-1 on the year. They lose to Harding. 15-9 was the final. 5 turnovers from Perry in that loss. And they still had a chance with a Hail Mary to tie it or win it late in the game. They come up short, but Zach Slates and company fall to Harding 15-9. We mentioned St. Thomas. They've lost 28 in a row. They fall to Mineral Ridge yesterday, 54-13, the final there. How about back-to-back wins for first-year head coach Brock Dial and the Tuslaw Mustangs, 48-6 over Riverview. The Mustangs off to a great start now, 2-1. Malvern Hornets undefeated, 38-28 winners over Harrison Central. Jared Witherow, 242 yards passing, 3 touchdown passes, and a touchdown run. Alliance falls to 0-3 as they lose to Streetsboro, 49-13. You mentioned Glen Oak. Yeah, they played Fitch, another tough team, but they fall 35-0. They've been outscored, though, in those 3 games, 122-7. So you hope that playing these tougher teams for Scotty Garcia and company is going to benefit them starting in Federal League play against McKinley this week. We'll have to wait and see. Green gets a win, 14-6 over Talmadge. Green now 2-1. A pair of Anthony's proved to be the winning hand last night. Anthony Fortunato, punt return touchdown. Anthony McMichael, a 29-yard TD run. And the Hoover Vikings now 2-1, Billy, after that opening game loss where they probably should have won. Hasn't bothered them. They pick up their second win of the season, beating Akron North. 40-6 was the final there. And Canton South and Eastmore, I think, are playing today. So there's all the scores from in and around Stark County.
Great stuff. Good run through there. We'll have that every Saturday morning when you tune in. Want to thank all our guests today. Coach John DeMarco of Northwest was on with us first. Coach DeGeorge from Lake was live at the JV game. We appreciate him jumping on. Coach Gamble brought some players with him. We appreciate that. We fit Coach Rohr in. He was also at a JV game. So, again, this show doesn't happen if those guys don't kind of take the time during their busy schedule to join us. We appreciate them. Dan Brockers Import Automotive, our sponsor for 2 years now. It is the Dan Brockers Import Automotive Saturday Morning Huddle. So we appreciate them. You saw the sweet play of the week from Marianne Donuts. Again, I was in and out of there in 5 minutes this morning with 2 donuts that are both gone now. In and out over here real quick. That was terrific. And we welcome a fresh addition to the Saturday Morning Huddle. Every week we will talk about the one. I love it, Kenny. This is going to be great. The whole show being you were the one. This is the one. He was the one. The Community One Credit Union Player of the Week. Chase Badger. What a stat line. I'll have to get this to him because if I were him, I would frame this. I'd cut this out and save it. This was a heck of a performance.
It really was. And, he's doing it with his arm, with his legs, and they're doing it as a team off to a great start for Northwest 3-0. And we've got them on the radio schedule coming up against CVCA in October. Can't wait to check that game out. And we're moving some things around too, maybe with our week 5 game. We're waiting to see what game we're doing week 5. We have a couple in mind. So we'll wait and see. So we won't announce that one yet, but Northwest doing a great job. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks again to Antonio Hall's mom, Venus, for feeding us yesterday at the McKinley game. Top-notch home-cooked meal that fed 10 people in the press box. So I got to give her some love as well.
Love to hear it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in here on the Saturday Morning Huddle. Be sure to subscribe to get everything going on locally and more, and we'll see you next Saturday on the Huddle.